Hello, everybody. Scott Golden here with the Golden Opportunities Coaching YouTube channel. Welcome to those of you who are new. Welcome back to those of you seasoned veterans of what we do around here. What we do around here is bring about conversations of a psychological, mental health, emotional health paradigm. We do that as often as we can, usually several times per week. We try to do that for your benefit. Obviously, haven't been around in the last several weeks as often as I would like, but we're hopefully going to work on that in 2023. Regardless, there's over 1,600 or so of these available for your listening pleasure as we continue to add whenever we can, and ultimately we'll continue to do so as time allows. This is also an opportunity to reach out if you're looking for life, business, relationship coaching. Would love to be of assistance to you in that way. Please feel free to reach out at PO Perception on Twitter and or in the About Me section of this YouTube page, and we can get more information together for you. In any event, this particular audio is about, if you're liking somebody, but you don't know what to do with that, or you're kind of struggling at some level with all of that and not quite sure what to do with those things. And so the first thing is if you have physical attraction to somebody. Obviously, physical attraction is a sign that you may have a desire to have a deeper romantic relationship with a person. Physical attraction can also be a sign of lust or physical frustration, sexual frustration, but it doesn't necessarily have to be any of the above. The next thing to look at is the level of excitement and anticipation that you have around the idea of spending time with a person. If you constantly feel like spending time with this person is going to lead you in a direction of feeling better about yourself, there is a benefit to that, because what that really says is that you are anticipating being able to create memories with a person, and that will lead you to feeling as though the value of the relationship itself is perhaps better than you would have imagined, or perhaps better than you would prefer. And so, a lot of times, excitement can be a sign that you are ultimately, interested in pursuing a more than platonic relationship with an individual. Obviously, that excitement will peak and valley based on the other stressors you have in your life. But if for extended periods of time, several minutes, several hours, or even several days in between seeing them, you're kind of planning out in your head and going into the fantastical or magical thinking world of creating what could be there, that's a chance you may have a desire to develop a deeper than typical relationship with them. With that, though, the excitement can come nervousness, fear of rejection, fear of failure, fear of inability to connect socially, especially with the reliance that we have on social media today. In-person meetings, especially for the younger generations, can become extremely difficult because the fear of rejection dominates. So the level of nervousness you have around a potential crush may be an indication of how much you're actually into them. That is, the more nervous you become, the more likely it is that their opinion matters more to you than you may be self-aware. This doesn't necessarily mean a bad thing. Some nervousness is always good, just as when I perform, and I've been performing in one way or another in front of a microphone for 25 years, I still have some level of nervousness because I'm afraid I might say something that doesn't come across the way I intend it, but immediately when I'm in front of the microphone, that evaporates. Similarly, as with a crush, it is possible to have a level of interest in a person and not necessarily be in a negative space when you think about the potential that they could be, someone that's good for you or helpful for you to be around. But that certain level of nervousness can be an indication of your level of intention towards them, or the potential to have a deeper relationship is something you're focused upon. Again, speaking about focus is important here as well, as your level of focus upon them in your daily life, thinking about what they may like, thinking about what they don't like, thinking about the challenges they're facing, their preferences, the time you could be spending with them, what you'll do with them when you see them next. All of these are indications of things that are important to consider, especially if you're trying to develop a deeper relationship with them as a person. And when we begin to look at the possibility of having such a person in our lives, making that time is important as well. Another thing to consider when you're liking a person or potentially developing deeper feelings than you imagined is the potential around the idea of what could be for the future. So you kind of go into a mode where you're not as present in the present moment as may be helpful, because you start to think about ways to be kind to them, even sometimes to your own detriment. Doesn't necessarily mean it's always negative to be kind, but you may get into the habit of overgiving. Then, if you have unhealthy relationship boundaries, coaching can help with this, as it can help you overcome the nervousness, help you define the boundaries that you have around what a healthy relationship looks like for you, help you to define the ways to articulate your relationship needs, and be able to get to a place where your relationship is more fruitful and less wasted energy. So hopefully this is helpful. I encourage you to reach out at PO Perception on Twitter or in the About Me section of this YouTube page. If there's anything more I can do for you, take care. Until next time.